Hey guys and gals, and welcome back to another open discussion. I'm Obi, joined by Sobi here today. We're going to be doing something similar to our last open discussion video, a little bit more informal than what we normally do on the channel. With that being said, we do have a couple of new screenshots that we'd like to share from the developers that just dropped a couple days ago. Let's go ahead and get started on that. Did you want to open that up?
Sure thing, man. So in our last video, we showed a screenshot where it had Steve in front of the Bookstore. This time around, they actually have some screenshots from inside the Bookstore. Everything looks a little bit more natural here in the actual bookstore. You have like the piles of books laying around. The bookshelves are actually filled. The bookshelves have a facelift, if you will. Like I think we were talking earlier and you had said they're a little bit like thicker. They don't just seem kind of like pasted onto the wall anymore.
Yeah, they're not so much like a cookie cutter shape, like that just straight square kind of a dimension. And the one thing that I did mention was the bookshelf. If you look next to Darlene right here, this bookshelf that's kind of flat against the wall is something that I find very interesting. And you can actually notice that the books themselves, like you can actually read the covers, which is pretty interesting. Now, we were talking about immersion earlier, and that was like one of the biggest aspects of these two screenshots. That's something that really sticks out for us. Now, a couple of things that I think I was really complaining about was the lack of like clutter on the floor. Like there's a couple of small trash piles on the floor, but I would like to see some more books like scattered about. And I think you said something about maybe like blood.
Yeah, so I was mentioning the fact that like if you go into any POI, I've really never noticed that hardly any of them have a lot of like blood or anything. So like the zombies just kind of seem like they were placed there. To me, it, you know, you go into a lot of them, the doors are boarded up and, you know, they got like metal on them and stuff that you got to break into. So it's, for me, it would seem more natural if they had like at least a little bit of blood on the floor or, you know, maybe spattered on the walls, something like that. One thing that I did want to point out real quick with these screenshots is, hello, we can actually see the new Darlene in game. She looks amazing. Well, obviously not amazing, but I mean, she looks amazing, but she's also dead, so
yeah, she's been through the ringer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think honestly, compared to Steve's in-game model, I actually like this one a little bit more. Even compared to her concept art model, like I don't know, she just has like a little bit more of a wicked look than what she did in the concept art. And it's kind of funny because Steve's character did the exact opposite for me. Like I thought Steve's character model in the art looked really good, but whenever I saw him in game, like the screenshot with the Crack-a-Book like out front, I wasn't too pleased with it, but this one ultimately I'm pretty pleased with it. But let's go ahead and move on. So the next portion of the video, now that we've gotten past that, we kind of wanted to go through, we had a couple of comments that a lot of people had commented on. Like we kept seeing this as a repeating topic. So we wanted to kind of like bring that into the video and kind of give our opinions on it. So in our last discussion video, I had mentioned updating things like, you know, ponds and waterways and adding different visual stimuli to those, whether it be stuff like seaweed or like cattails, you know, on the riverbanks and stuff like that. And I had kind of tripped up and said fishing for some reason, and somebody actually caught that and was like, oh, that's a really good idea. And we've also seen a lot of comments about like rivers and boats. Did you want to kind of give your opinion on those?
For sure. So as far as it goes for waterways and rivers and stuff of that nature, like I feel like we need more of those in, but I also understand why they have them limited. It's a survival game. They don't want to just have water everywhere. Water is part of surviving. So I understand that. For the boats section, you really need those waterways and rivers to be able to have boats. And there's a double-edged sword that comes with boats as well. Zombies don't swim. So if you have a boat on Horde Night, you take it out to the middle of a lake, you're basically safe. And then you just sail back to the shoreline, and the next day you're like free and clear. You just walk away, all the zombies despawn. So like that's definitely a way that somebody could cheese out of it. Now I think that actually you had a really great idea with fishing earlier. I think we were talking about it and you had a very good idea with fishing, if you wanted to go over that.
Yeah, I mean, because you had mentioned previously, and somebody else had mentioned it in one of the comments, but something that even before that comment, you had mentioned that you would really like to see fishing in the game. And I was like, you know, I just don't see it as a plausible thing since 7 Days to Die is so time sensitive, and we both have agreed that we would like to see more of a realistic nature. Now, again, these are our opinions. Some people, we've got a lot of comments, people saying that, it's a video game, it doesn't need to be realistic. And, again, we would like to see something more realistic because this is something that we, as people who grew up being major fans of the zombie franchise, we actually talked a lot growing up about like, oh, what would we do in like a zombie situation? So like this game like really helps us capture our imagination when it comes to that. However, I don't think fishing would work, but I do think if we were to add something like fishing nets or crab pots or some kind of cages, some kind of traps for them, something that you can basically just build, leave, walk away. And one of the biggest aspects of 7 Days to Die is the fact that everything is kind of random and it's chance based. So it would tie in and incorporate very well with the current algorithm and system that they have in place, being that it is a chance that you could catch something, or most likely you're probably not. But I also think that they could take that a step further and incorporate that maybe into hunting a little bit, where you could possibly set up like a snare or again a trap with bait. How simple would it be to build a trap and then, okay, cool, I need like some rotten flesh or whatever to like bait it with, and then again, if you bait it, it has an increased chance of actually capturing something. I think that would be a really good addition to the game. But let's go ahead and push forward. We are trying to keep this video a lot shorter than our last one, just for time's sake. So
kind of moving on, we have one that I've seen a few times in our comment section, and one that I've commented on a few times, definitely, that I would like to see is more NPCs that roam, whether that be bandits that are hostile or kind of like a traveling trader, anything like that is kind of adds that extra full feeling to the world, because right now it's pretty empty. Minecraft suffered from the same thing for a long time with me, and I don't really play Minecraft anymore, but obviously way back when I did, it felt really empty, and I feel like now I have that same problem with 7 Days to Die. So like for me, I would like to have something like a roaming bandit or a roaming trader that I could maybe trade wares to, take it to my local setup trader or something like that. Maybe some sort of kind of interchange almost like that.
Cross trading system?
Yeah, kind of like a cross trading almost. You buy it at like a roaming trader for less than what old dude like I don't know, Rick. I don't know the traders' names. I don't remember them. Yeah, I don't remember them off the top of my head. But like, you got old Billy Bob trader dude who you can go and take whatever you buy from this dude for like 100 coin. You can take it over to him and buy for sell it for 200 coin. Not saying I want to just exploit it, but that's just an example.
Well, I mean, I think that would work, especially the fact that like if it was like a rare thing, I think it would work out really well. One thing that I think would be interesting, and something that I mentioned to you earlier, would be like bandit POIs. I mean, roaming bandits would be cool. I don't know how they would implement roaming bandits, but I think actual like maybe bandit POIs would be more of a thing that they could work with. In which basically they have, like a compound that is actually being held over by hostile NPCs. And you would obviously, this would be more of kind of like a later game kind of thing, where you would have to have weapons. And by weapons, I mean guns. Like you're going to have guns to be able to go in and take these guys out. And pretty decent armor, but at the end there obviously has to be some like top level loot to like return the fact that, okay, cool, I'm taking these guys out. But just kind of pushing away from that, let's move on to our next subject, which is hitboxes.
Yeah, so I've definitely seen this one. I've felt this one in my soul before. When you're trying to just simply clear out a POI, and whether you're using a club or a sledgehammer, whatever the case may be, whatever you're using in your hands, you look at it and you see it swing, and by like a pixel, it misses like just their head for whatever reason. It's so annoying. I don't know how the hitboxes are, or maybe it's the animation, And now that they're going to be updating the animation, maybe that's going to be improved. I don't know. Hopefully, maybe that's what it is. It's very, very annoying. I know one thing, and you and I were talking about it earlier just a little bit, is the fact that we've actually moved away from using those weapons because of the hitboxes, and now we use a lot of spears. So I know that you and I both were kind of talking about how we just use spears because they seem more accurate as far as the hitboxes go.
Well, I don't even know if it's more of a hitbox thing or just the fact that it gives you a little bit more distance in between you and the zombie, allowing you to evade them rather than like something like a club where you have to be like exactly on top of them. And then, you know, sometimes even with the clubs, like even if you hit, sometimes like the knockback doesn't work. So like you'll hit them and they're still swinging versus something like the spear where you can actually get a good distance, you know, hidden on them and not have to worry about taking damage or getting hit with that annoying bleed out effect that they have, which I'm hoping they definitely do something with in the future update. They need to turn that down just a little bit.
But other than that, guys, I think that's all we have for this episode. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Obi, do you have anything that you'd like to say?
Yeah, if you guys have anything that you guys would like to see in 7 Days to Die, please let us know down in the comments.
Guys, if you are not already joined on our Discord, please go over to one of the links, join in our Discord. We have talks like this all the time with everybody that's in there. It's always welcome. We love talking about games. We love having a community. Hop in, let us know, read the rules. We'll do an introduction and we'll get you in there. We super appreciate everybody being here. That's all I have to say.
All right. Well, until next time, this is Obi.
This is Obi.
Signing out.
See you guys next time.